Fogadják a színpadon Michael Stern karmestert és Barry Shiffman hegedűművészt, a torontói Glenn Gould School dékánját. Hello. 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 Please. I'm sure that you actually don't need me for your conversation, but let me ask you an opening question, and then I let you have your conversation. Many great violinists have been mentioned this weekend, but let me mention two more. First, Laurent Fenyves, who was, as far as I know, your professor, and of course, that wonderful American violinist who loved visiting us and playing with Hungarian musicians, your father, Isaac Stern. And we are very proud that our Hungarian musicians actually all over the world. But how was this calculated in the past? And how is it calculated today in the USA and in Canada?
That's a great question. You know, I grew up in Canada, where in Toronto, the great professor in my time was Laurent Fenyves, and he was a kind of godlike figure. So you either studied with him, or if you didn't study with him, you came across him in competitions, and he had a really huge impact. But in addition to what happened in Toronto, there's a little town in the mountains in Alberta called Banff, where every young Canadian went to study. I eventually was lucky enough to be the director of the program there. And in Banff, it's like little Hungary. So Fenyves taught there for 27 years. Magyar taught there. Zoltán Zekai, when he retired from being first violin of the Hungarian quartet, lived the rest of his life at the Banff Center. The head of theater was Hungarian. Yorgi Sebak taught the piano class for 25 years. It was Hungary. And we grew up as Canadians going to Banff and being immersed in that culture. The number of times we heard this hall referenced by those teachers, the way they described it, this is my first time here. I feel like I knew this just from their incredibly elaborate, stories of how incredibly beautiful this place was. But to give you a little taste of what it was like to have to be in Banff with Zoltán, you would go to Lloyd Hall, which was the apartment building where he lived on campus, and you'd ring the bell, and this slow-moving older man would open the door, and as you crossed into his apartment, you entered another century. He did not change. He was still, the same man that he was during his career playing recitals with Bartók, and he was just happened to be living in the mountains of Banff.
Well, you say that Banff is Little Hungary, right? And of course, there's great music there. But is the food as good there as it is here?
So I arrived this morning. I purposely didn't take the meal on the plane so that I could try some food tonight. So I'll let you know.
Excellent. This doesn't surprise me because Hungary, of course, is not the biggest country in Europe. But think about the reach that Hungarian musicians, Hungarian composers, players, the spirit of making music here is unlike, I think, almost anywhere else, anywhere, and certainly in Europe. And this is why, since you were kind enough to mention my father, why he loved coming here for so many years. He played here, I think he taught here a little bit, yes. He recorded here with the Ferenc Liszt Chamber Orchestra, and it's also why I like coming back to Budapest, because you have this complicit feeling among these musicians. I mean, listen to how beautifully they just played the Bartók, right? Let's give them a little hand of appreciation. But they are so deeply connected to what is essential about music, and I would say, as high a level as they are in this country, generally speaking, as professionals, they are all amateurs in the best sense of the word, which means they are still in love with music. And that is an incredible thing. On top of that, the tradition of violin playing is inspiring, right? And so it's no wonder that this festival was possible, not just because of Joseph Joachim, but of all those people who inspired composers to write for them. It's kind of a phenomenon not replicated anywhere else. And it's pretty wonderful to feel that and to be part of it.
Because there's only one Barnabás Kelemen that would agree to do this. And I mean, I've been watching him since the first concert, and as you notice, with each performance, he gets more and more and more extraordinary. And that's just I mean, I walked by his studio. You should know that, you know, he has the violin case open with his Guarneri dal Gesù, and there's a mattress on the floor. And I said, have you used the mattress? He goes, no. No, there's no time.
No, it really is a marathon. I feel very personally connected to being here because Barnabás and I met when he was, I think, 13 years old. Unfortunately, I was not 13 years old. But we've known each other for a very long time. Our families have known each other for a very long time. His father and my father were very close. His father and I were very close, both his parents. But the musical values, I think that's what it is, the musical values, not just the talent, not just but what he thinks is important about music is what I think is important about music. And so on top of that, with friendship, it's really wonderful to come back and be part of this adventure.
So I was just going to say, we mentioned Zoltán Zekai. So Zoltán was a recital partner of Bartók, and when Bartók wrote the two Rhapsodies, he gave them to Zoltán and said, you can choose which one you want me to dedicate to you, and the other one will go to Szigeti. And it always bothered Zoltán that he chose this one and that the other one became much more famous. It drove him crazy his whole life. He's like, why did I not choose the other one? Look what happened with Szigeti.
You actually already gave the answer, but what do you think? What could be the message behind such an initiative like this marathon?
Oh, I can answer that. Let me answer it first because I'm not the professional teacher. He's a great violinist, but he's actually in the business of running a school in Toronto. I just think it's it's part of our DNA, you know, it's part of our life's work to help young musicians. And so actually, in terms of this festival, I'm extremely happy that I'm working with the young musicians of the Liszt Academy. But what I think the importance for this festival means to that is that it's a signal to the future. You know, you always have to look forward with hope, which I will say fully that in my country sometimes is a challenge. We have to keep telling ourselves, we have to keep believing in the future. You in Hungary seem to be doing just that, looking to the future. And there is no better way to make that future the best reality it can be than by investing in the talent in every discipline, and certainly in the arts, of young people, because they are the future. And so when you can establish this primacy of excellence that the Hungarian musical culture, the history of violin playing, all of it represents for what you want to be as a society and what you can bring to the young people, that's pretty incredible. And you put your priorities straight, you get your best intentions forward, and there is this kind of rolling optimism which I think should inspire all of us.
I'm glad he took that answer. No, I think what I'm taking away from this, I'm so happy that this is being broadcast on the Violin Channel, because the generation of young players today, they learn most of what they learn on YouTube and on the internet. They learn 5% from whatever school they're going to, and the rest, it's all online. And that's why they're playing so well. And I think we don't have enough inspiring performers like Barnabás that really envelop this music, and in addition to all of the great violin playing, there's an unbelievable contagious sense of joy. And I think that is an incredibly powerful message for any young person. Look how much fun he's having. He has no age. He's younger than any of the young kids I teach. That's why I brought Barnabás and his incredible partner, Kathy, to Toronto, to the Glenn Gould School. They spent a week working with our kids from 8 till 28, and then the faculty also jumped in because they wanted to be playing with those types of joyous music makers.
time flies in good company.
Yes.
Thank you very much for the conversation.
Thank you.
We're delighted to be here. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.